Having surpassed 1,000 completed anime, it's time to review my old favorites and find out what holds up. I'm Sacrabolic, your envoy of hope, and this is Anime Favorite Search. Zoku Owarimonogatari Koyomi Reverse Arc has the insurmountable task of trying to follow up the best written anime's best written arc, and in my original review, which was, I believe, Popcorn episode 33, so this is actually a relatively recent one, I gave it an absolutely stellar and glowing review, and this is probably one of the few instances where I will actually say that I think the arc was worse in a rewatch. In the original circumstances I watched Zoku, it was during a period where there had not been an Owarimonogatari release in, I think, a few years at that point. Maybe it was like 1 year or whatever, but it had still been a pretty significant amount of time. And getting to see all of the characters post-conclusion again, and this prevailing mystery element that goes throughout the entire Koyomi Reverse arc, I think hit me in a way that doesn't quite hit me the same after having watched this directly after Owarimonogatari's second season with the absolutely stellar Ogi Dark arc. The arc itself is about Araragi having fully graduated, but not quite knowing whether he's going into college or not, ending up sort of halfway falling into a mirror, only to find the world and the characters around him inverted. And a lot of the girls are sort of manifesting their oddities and full face. There are some exceptions, but for example, Mayui ends up being like an adult, and Onanoki ends up being like super expressive, for example, and Kambaru is just full-on rainy devil, whereas Nadeko takes on the persona of her imaginary snake oddity that drove her during the Medusa arc, and Hanakawa is in full Black Hanakawa form. We don't see Hitagi during this, which is actually sort of explained during the ending of this, and we don't see Kako the tiger, which is implied, they specifically say that like that instance is done with, and I think going through the revelations that happen throughout the arc, that the implication is that Tsubasa has fully absorbed the Kako entity, even more so than she has Black Hanakawa, and she just is the tiger now, which is good because Tiger Hanakawa is best Hanakawa anyway. We also get to see Shinobu, but like in her princess Acerola form, and we have a conversation between Araragi and essentially Princess Acerola. And having this, when I first watched this, did absolutely nothing for me, but having come off of Acerola Bon Appetit arc, the amount of time that Araragi managed to stay in her presence and not kill himself is genuinely impressive. Like, he, I think, spent more time in her presence without a suicide than Deathtopia did. And so if that says anything about how fucking beastly fucking Araragi's willpower is, I don't know what does, alright? Araragi's crazy. We do get to see Oikura with short hair. She appears in this arc, and I forgot that this happened because so I think actually when I originally watched the movie, I literally forgot who this fucking character is because she is so fucking different than she was during her arcs in Owarimonogatari. But yeah, she's super cute with short hair, by the way. That's probably my second favorite character design in the entire show now, after like long hair Nadeko, because like holy shit, she was like so cute, she's so bubbly. It's great. I will also say that we get the reveal of Toei Kanbaru, or Toei Gaian, which is, of course, Izuko Gaian's older sister and Kanbaru's mom, who died probably in a car accident. If I had to guess, she died in a car accident. Anyway, she makes her appearance in this movie, and she adds another bit to the what characters know thing. And her saying is, it doesn't matter what I know or don't know. So we can throw in that along with Hanakawa's I only know what I know, Ogi's it's what you know, Araragi, and Izuko's I know everything. We now know. And this makes sense because unlike the others who are basing their choices off of information they possess, it seems like Toei is, wow, I said that wrong, is basing hers more off of intuition, and she more just seems to have a very clear and stellar intuition. So that's actually kind of interesting. This also wraps a bit back to the Koyomi water arc, where Araragi attempts to re-enter Kanbaru's bath, which is supposed to reflect the, lover, your future lover. And so, yeah, it's actually sort of interesting to sort of see that all come back. But if I'm being honest, this arc isn't actually that strong while watching it. And having known basically the resolution and having come off of much stronger arcs, I will actually say this is weaker in a rewatch. It sort of addresses Araragi and the girls' regrets about their circumstances and his relationship with them. So the Koyomi reverse arc is sort of like Koyomi history, but ballooned up to full movie length. But I feel like even with all of that, we outside of a really cute moment with Senjo Kahara, I feel like this movie doesn't really get us much. I feel like we're not really progressing the game state. And of course, there's I guess one or two questions that could get answered by this. But if I'm being totally honest with you, this arc feels like it is just specifically designed to explain why Ogi wears a boy's uniform in Hanamonogatari. Twitch and Discord in the description. I've been Sacrobolic, your envoy of hope. Bye-bye.